Hey guys, welcome to Freedom in a Budget and my first live stream, live Q&A. I'm so excited to do this with you guys, and I'm just waiting for a couple of people to hop on. And please let me know that you are in the chat and say hello. And I have some great questions that I'm going to start off with. So I am so excited. So I'm going to jump in with the first one. It is from Megan L, and she asks, how does budgeting and weight loss come together? How do you do them? So this is a great topic of budgeting and weight loss, and sometimes they're hard for them to come together because so complex in their own, and a lot of times when you're eating healthy, it's harder to do it on a budget. And it's something that I really struggled with in the beginning, doing weight loss and doing Weight Watchers in the beginning. Hope that's a little better with the light. Weight Watchers in the beginning, and just going to the meetings and eating the extra fruits and veggies and eating less pasta, which if you know me, you know that I eat pasta almost every single day because it's one of my favorite foods of just because it's delicious and it's cheap. And so learning how to do those together, and one of the main ways that I am able to do that is from YouTube and watching other people's grocery hauls and other people's what I eat in a day. And I'm actually filming a video today of everything that I eat from start to finish in the points and just how I can do that on a budget. And so you'll see from my grocery haul and different things like that of how I'm able to contribute that. So let's see, I got some couple people in the chat here. Julie, hi. Mina's here from the Universe Guru. Awesome. Voice is good. Okay, glad you guys can hear me. Eliana, hi. Melody. And Mina says, some people don't eat healthy because they think it's too expensive. Yes, that is so true. And that was one of my biggest things in the beginning of the cost. And that's one of the reasons why I was eating pasta every single day. And it didn't didn't really hit me until I turned about 25, 26. And then it really started packing on the pounds. I used to be able to eat it, no problem. And then it started hitting me. So let's see. What other questions do we have? And please leave your questions in the chat, guys, and I will be happy to answer them. Next one is a fun one from Lauren G, and she asks, how did you and Jayme meet? So this is a great question. I love talking about this. So we actually met at a Bible study at church, and it used to be a young singles Bible study. So pretty much from like 23-ish up to about 35. And then they decided to include the college age students. And half of the group was really against it. I was one of the people that was like, no, like you're only as strong and as deep as your weakest link. So I love like deep theological Bible studies. And so I was like, if we bring these college kids in, it's gonna bring it down and just the maturity and everything. And so I was really against it. So we had a few college people, and Jayme was one of them. And even, I would say hi to all of them and whatnot. But I didn't really notice him or anything. And then, because we're 4 years apart. So then I think we went to the beach, a group of us from church, and they have beach parking in my area is terrible, and you can buy a beach patch, which I think is like super restricted of who can buy them. You have to be in certain city limits, and you can't live on a certain street, and everything. It's just complicated. And when my friends had one, so we're all texting about where we're going to meet, and we're going to meet at Publix and different things like that, so that we could all jump in his car and carpool. And so we did that. And so he was texting me to figure out where we're going to meet, what time and everything. And then he just kind of kept on texting me, if you know what I mean. And then we just kept on texting. And then the next couple of days I would hear from him again and again in different excuses that he would make to text me. And after a while I was like, oh, there's some substance to him. I'm kind of intrigued. And so then we were going through that. That was like February. And then May, I knew for sure that he was interested in me. And then we didn't start really dating or anything until June. So that's the story on that. And a funny story that we tell people is that when he was a freshman in high school, so we're 4 years apart. So he was a freshman in high school, and I was a freshman in college and a leader in the youth group. And we went on this trip. It was to Universal Studios in Orlando called Rock the Universe, where a whole bunch of like Christian bands come in, and you can ride the rides and, you know, see all the bands and do all this stuff. So I was a leader, and he was a freshman in high school on that trip. And we remember everyone that was on the trip and stuff, but not each other. And we remember like different things that happened on the trip and different funny jokes that were told. We still remember all those, but we don't remember each other. But I do have one picture where we took like a Peter Pan bus, and I'm in the back of the bus row, the bench, and there's someone in the very corner of the picture, and all you can see is like this part of their head, but it was blonde hair, because he was a towhead, bleach blonde hair, and it was shaven because he was in a military program. And I'm like 99% sure that's him. Yeah, I'm a cougar. So that was a funny story that we like to tease each other on. Let's see who else is in the chat. Oh, Wendy Y, hello. Elizabeth, hello. Lindsay's Frugal Life said, I'm here too. Sat down for lunch and YouTube at the exact right time to catch your chat. Yay! I'm so excited. Universe Guru Mina says, how do you and Jayme deal with paying for dates and expenses that come with being a couple? Great question. So he pays for it all. I'm very old-fashioned, and the man should pay. The man does dates and different things like that, and pursuing and everything like that. Like, he was the first one to be texting and calling. He was the first one to ask me out. I even remember on a what was it? He wanted to ask me out on a date, and he tried via text. I was like, no, I don't get asked out on dates via text. No, try again. So I'm very old school with that. So he pays for all of the dates. Now, say he got to church early, or he's working an event and he needs coffee, I'll go and pick him up coffee. I'll go and pick him up food and bring it for him. But he is living at home with his parents to save money. He was looking into getting his own place and stuff when we started dating. But I was actually one of the big factors of him not doing that and just staying at home, because I really thought it was wiser for him to stay home and save that money. And that way it can also be a blessing on his family, because then he's able to help his family out around the house and different things like that, watching their dog and different things. So I'm taking on a lot of expenses with rent and all of those extra bills that he doesn't have to pay. So he does pay for all of our dates whenever we go out. If we go to the movies, he pays. If we go, we went to like a thing like Santa's Enchanted Forest a couple of years ago where you see all the Christmas lights. He pays for stuff like that. So that is how we do that. Suzanne, hello. She said, hello, I'm Suzanne Williams. I'm still working out and Weight Watchers diet. Awesome. I love Weight Watchers. I've been doing it for a couple months now and doing awesome. So please let me know how you're doing with that. Savvy Val, hi, I made it. Hello. Cultivating my life. Hi. Oh, goodness, I'm loving this. Universe Guru, I'm old-fashioned too when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah, guy always has to pay. Savvy Val asks, how long have you been together? What's the wedding date? I'm behind on your story. We have been together. It'll be 3 years this coming year. So we were talking, like I said, from like March to June. June was like our first official date, our first official kiss and everything. But he had sought counsel from some people. And we were about to go on a mission trip to Africa that July and August. And so they told him, don't start dating until after Africa. And a lot of people had concerns about our age and different places in life, because he was still in college, and he still is now, because he's taking the extended 10 years to get his degree, because he's just doing a couple classes at a time. So he was still in college, and I was in the working field, living on my own and all of this stuff for several separate years. And we were in two totally different stages of life. And so there was a lot of concerns with that. And people said, you know, go slow, really, really, really get to know each other to make sure that is something that this will work. Because a lot of people had doubts, and they said that the biggest issue will be your age, which totally was true. And just being in different stages of life. So we didn't like officially become dating until August of 2014, I think. I don't even know anymore. I think 2014. Wedding date. So we haven't set a date yet, but it'll be probably end of this year, I'm assuming. And then Nicole says, hello from Arkansas. Hello. Lindy's Frugal Life says, have to go walk the dogs and go grocery shopping. Enjoy the short time I caught. Thank you so much for coming, Lindsay. That means so much to me, and I'm so glad you were able to join. So please, please, please leave some more questions down below, and I will continue going over the ones that I have here. So CS6510 says, you mentioned that you have $1,000 buffer in your bank account. Is that the $1,000 emergency fund, or is that extra from your emergency fund? Extra from your emergency fund. So that is in addition to my emergency fund. So I guess technically I have a $2,000 buffer or $2,000 Baby Step 1 emergency fund. But honestly, guys, I don't use it. So when I look at my bank account and say, because I do a zero-based budget. So say I have $1,300 in my checking account. I, in my head, see that as $300. I don't see it as $1,300. So I just automatically subtract that 100 in my head, because that way I don't have to worry about when bills come out and different things like that. I have set them up so that the majority of my bills come out after my second paycheck. So my first paycheck takes care of my rent, my tithe, and my second paycheck takes care of all the like student loans and internet, what else comes out of there? My iPhone bill, my renter's insurance, my gym membership, all that stuff is the second paycheck. And so sometimes it does have to dip down below, or sometimes my landlord won't cash my check to like the 20th of the month, which is a little annoying. But sometimes it'll go down to like $800. So that way I know that I don't have to have any overdraft fees or anything like that. Before, it was so stressful for me, guys. I used to overdraft all the time, or when I was just paid every 2 weeks. So whatever that Friday was, sometimes it was the 30th, sometimes it was the 4th, sometimes it was like the 7th, and you don't know when that's going to come. And it was just like okay, I'm going to write this check and just pray that my landlord doesn't cash it. And sometimes she would wait super long to cash it. Sometimes she would cash it immediately. And it was just so stressful of that. Or sometimes I'd have to borrow $200 from a friend, or go into overdrafts and just eat that $35 cost. And then they would, the bank would process something else. And even though that check was pending, this one still came through. And so then I was hit with $75 or $70 overdraft fee. And so it was just so stressful. So for me, having that extra $1,000 buffer is just so much more comforting. Now I do know, I believe Gazelle Intent, and I know some other people that have their emergency fund in their checking account as their buffer. So they don't have 2,000, they just have the 1,000, but they hold it in their checking account as that buffer. So that is totally an option as well. Let's see what else. Savvy Val says, any ideas on your honeymoon? I will happy to give you some travel tips. Absolutely. I love some travel tips. Right now we're thinking about doing a cruise. I've never been on a cruise. I actually almost worked on a cruise ship because I went to massage school. Decided last minute not to do cruises. But Jayme's been on several cruises with his family. All growing up, they used to go on cruises all the time. And they're just so economical. And especially living in Florida, we don't have to pay for flights. We're like 20 minutes away from the port. So we can just go down there and just get right on the cruise. And just travel. And one thing we do want is just to have a nice cruise and just to not go all out, but not be stingy either. I want to get a nice room. I want to do some fun excursions and just see some shows and massages and stuff like that. It's going to be a really special time for us. And since we don't live together, it's going to be even more just of an experience of finally having those sleepovers and finally just spending that 24/7 time with each other that we're so excited about. So I think we're going to do like a Western Caribbean cruise or something, definitely something tropical. I am all about the tropics. I live in Florida, so even though I live here and there's palm trees and people vacation where I live, I need something tropical and warm. Let's see. Claudia, hi Kelly, greetings from Chicago. Hello. Tatiana, love the frame and your channel. Thank you. You were actually with me when I got that, Tatiana. Savvy Val, how do you land the awesome paying babysitting job? So this is actually from an Instagram post that I did today of where I got paid. I think it was like $240 for 13 hours. So that is just a sweet family that I watch almost every single weekend, and they pay me very, very well. But a tip with side hustle and babysitting and stuff like that is always ask for referrals. So they go through their high seasons and low seasons of when they need me, and sometimes they need me a couple times a week, and then other times I'll go over a month without babysitting. So when they are in those late seasons, I'm texting her saying, hey, do you have any friends? Do you have any family members that need someone to watch their kids or anything like that? And she does pay me very well. She almost treats me more as like employee / family more than just a babysitter. And so she does pay me on the high side, but she knows that whenever I ask that question, those people that she was referring, I'm not expecting that much money at all, because if I was, then it would be a lot harder to get those jobs. So definitely ask for referrals. You can do care.com. I signed up for care.com, but I never went through with it. A friend of mine has gotten tons of jobs from that, from babysitting to watching this elderly man. She does a lot of pet sitting. So that is another great way to get some extra side income, and then you can ask for referrals. If you know people from church, you can ask people in church. You can ask different people at your kid's school, different places like that. I personally feel more comfortable with going with people that I know, or referrals of people that I know. So the one that I babysit now, if she gives me a referral, I know that she trusts that person and is comfortable, because you're home alone in their house, and it can be, not the safest environment. So definitely be careful with where you are. Just because it's good income doesn't mean that it's a good idea to do it, because it may not be safe. And Liana says, hey Kelly, I know you're saving for your wedding. Have you also started saving for where you are going to live after you are married? So right now we're just saving for the wedding and paying off debt. I'm not sure. This is actually a hot topic for where we are going to be living. I would love to stay where I am. I live in a great 2-bedroom apartment, and it is very cheap for my area. Very, very, very cheap. The same size apartment in my area is probably $1,700 to $2,000 a month, and I'm paying $1,100 a month because I'm grandfathered in, and it's just a sweet, sweet couple from St. Croix that I rent from. Now, we've looked at other places. We've looked at his parents buying a condo and us renting from his parents for a couple years. So it's something that we're looking into. But if worse comes to worse, he can just move right in here with me, which is what my idea would be. His ideal would not be that. He's not too big in my apartment, and the area isn't very good. It's a little ghetto, but I feel perfectly safe here. So thank you for asking. Savvy Val says, we have done a cruise and you can get awesome deals. Yay! I can totally give you some awesome websites. I would love that. Definitely love that. And she said, you should set up a honeymoon fund instead of what guess they give you money towards your trips and excursions. We've actually talked about that, especially since I live alone. I already have most of the household items. There are some items that I would love to put in my registry that aren't stuff that I would normally buy, and they're a little bit more of a high ticket item and more of a luxury item where I would never buy it now, but hey, someone wants to give it to me or chip in, I'm all more happy to have that. But we've also talked about doing one of those like honeymoon registries where they can put money towards a massage, or they can put money towards swimming with dolphins or different things like that, or they can just do X amount towards the honeymoon. A couple of my friends did that for their honeymoon to Hawaii. And Jayme, he actually builds websites and things like that. So he's talked about kind of building his own website and doing that for us. So we'll see. And we may do both. We may do, you know, just the honeymoon one. We may do a normal registry. We'll see. But I am totally open to that. And like I said, I really want to not go out, but I really want to enjoy my honeymoon. And I don't want it to just be a super stingy, we're going to spend $600. No, it'll be a couple $1,000s. But we're not going to go crazy, and we're not going to go into debt for it. We're going to cash flow everything. Let's see. Universe Guru says we paid $2,800 for a recent 7-day cruise for a family of 5, including port excursions. Wow, that is awesome for a family of 5. So that's really, really encouraging to hear. What port did you go out of, Mina? That would be great for me to know. Melody S says, do you ever think about just getting married at the courthouse and maybe having the big wedding later when you are out of debt? This is something, well, we've talked about just eloping, just because money is just crazy, and I am working so hard, like all the babysitting money that I made last night, that's going straight to the wedding fund. And so I'm working my butt off for this and working overtime. I work through my lunches every day, and it's just crazy of how much time and effort we're putting into it. But at the end of the day, as much as we say we like to elope or just go to the courthouse or something, I've dreamed of a wedding for so many years, and I know that we're out of debt. But someone said recently, I don't remember who it was, but it's not an emergency, and I still want to live my life. I still want to enjoy my life. And I'm sure I'm going to get some slack for saying that, and I'm sure there'll be lots of comments about it. But I really want to have a nice wedding. I really want to just enjoy it, and it's something that I've dreamed about for so many years. And I have so many people that have told you know, it's just one day and just a couple hours, and it drives by. Kelly, it was amazing. It was the best day. So many incredible memories. Just soak it all in, and it's something that they haven't regret one bit of doing that. And the girl that I actually babysit for, her mom is a wedding planner, so she's going to be our wedding planner, and her husband's a DJ, so they're going to do that. So they're going to give us really, really great deals on a lot of things. And so it's just something that, I'm sorry, but me personally, I don't want to go cheap on it. And if that means me being in debt for another year, then that's that. But to me, it's something that is worth it. Let's see. Tatiana said, any color scheme that you're thinking of for your wedding? You're really asking this because you want to know for your bridesmaids dress. I see, girl. But like a mint or light teal color for the wedding. And then I don't know about matching it with, I've thought about gray, the gray and the teal. So that, or the coral with the teal, or like the Tiffany blue. So I'm playing around with those colors. I think the hardest part of picking the colors is going to be making sure it's uniform straight across. And if you have like this shade of teal for this and then this shade for another, and it's just not exact, it's going to look poorly done. But great question. Eliana says, your apartment is not ghetto if you are on a budget and happy. Yeah, it's very true. It's built in, I think, 86, all original appliances. So my stove is still like the coil, very, very old dishwasher, old fridge. It's not energy efficient at all. And the neighborhood isn't very good. My part of the street you can walk in, but if you go half-mile down the road to the other end of the street, I wouldn't walk there. I don't think it's very safe. So I think that's more of what he meant by ghetto. Mina says New Orleans. Okay, so that's a great place for cruises. I've heard a lot of good things about that port. She says it was 5-hour drive for us, but almost $1,000 cheaper than our Texas port. Wow, that's crazy. We want to see New Orleans anyways. Yeah, I've heard New Orleans is amazing. I have an old coworker that used to, she grew up in New Orleans, and so I've heard lots about it. and it's a fun city. I'd like to go there someday. We actually have a couple ports. We have the Fort Lauderdale port and the Miami port that are close by, and there's one in, I think, Jacksonville as well, or up northern Florida that we can go out of. So we're definitely going to shop around for that and see what the best port is and the best price. And she says actually Florida is the cheapest port in the country. Do you know which one, Mina? Is it Fort Lauderdale or Miami? It's probably Miami. Let's see. Savvy Val says New Orleans is awesome. I've heard so many good things. Let's see. Next question. Leave your questions in the chat, please. Next question. What do you eat for breakfast? So I don't really eat much for breakfast. I usually wake up kind of hungry, not really, and then I have my coffee, and then I'm good for like several hours. Like I drink my coffee right at 8 o'clock when I get into work. Free coffee from work is amazing. And then that'll hold me over until like 10:30, 11 o'clock. Sometimes I'll have a banana for breakfast or something super light like that. And then sometimes I'll just go right into my snack of like my cheese and the little Happy Farms pepper jack cheeses with crackers. That's usually my like 11 o'clock snack that I love. Lauren says, good morning from Australia. Hello, Lauren. University of Miami. Okay, so that's good to know that Miami is cheaper than Fort Lauderdale. It's a little bit farther for us, but we'll have people driving us, so that's okay. Oh, Pretty Joy. Hi, I'm late, but I'm here. Thank you so much for coming. That is awesome. I love you, girl. Melody says, I have cruised out of Port Canaveral. So Port Canaveral is maybe 2.5 hours north of us. That's Cape Canaveral, which is where the NASA space station is. Which, fun fact about that, their area code is 321, which I know every single area code of inspection company, and they paid really big money to have the area code because they wanted it 321 for the 321 blast off for the space shuttles. So there you go. So she says, I cruised out of Port Canaveral. Pretty sure I spelled that wrong. It was a 7-day cruise. I paid $750. Holy cow. I always thought cruises were a lot more expensive than this. This is exciting. $750. That was 2 weeks before the cruise. Wow. So you paid that right before. That's great. What cruise line did you do? I think we're going to be looking into doing Royal Caribbean. That's Jayme's favorite. He's done many different ones, and I think he said that that one was the best. And let's see what other questions we have. What is a non-scale victory? So this was a question that I got from one of my weigh-in videos. So a non-scale victory is something that is really important in weight loss. And it's something that I actually kind of struggled with in the beginning because I was so into the scale. And what does the scale say? And the scale is going up and up and up and up and up. And my clothes aren't fitting and everything like that. But all I was concerned about was the scale. The scale isn't the only measure that we should be using when we're doing weight loss. So I think the non-scale victory that I had was my jeans that couldn't fit were able to fit, my skinny jeans right out of the dryer. So it's a non-scale victory because it's not about the number on the scale, but a victory in your body. So whether that be your tummy is a little flatter, or your arms don't flab as much when you wave, or your face is looking a little thinner. What could some other ones be? You have more energy throughout the day. That's a non-scale victory. You're not out of breath when you walk up 2 flights of stairs. That's a great non-scale victory. Those are really, really good ways to measure weight loss as well. Because at the end of the day, yeah, the scale may be changing, exciting, different things, but the scale is a reflection of who you are, and not of who you, I'm sorry, of how you're feeling and the reason why you want to lose weight. You don't want to lose weight because you just want that number. No, you want to be 30 pounds lighter because when you're 30 pounds lighter, you look better. And so that is a great way to measure success. And I'm really trying to shift my mindset of that non-scale victory And I know a lot of people too that have lost all this weight and gained all this muscle, and they weigh more than when they started their weight loss journey, just because of all the muscle that they've gained, and they're looking 10 times better in their clothes because of all that extra muscle. Now that's not gonna be me because I'm not working out like that with strength training, but that is a great way to measure it. So if you have any non-scale victories, please leave them down below in the comments, because I love celebrating with you and just learning new ways of how to celebrate them. Let's see. Carnival Cruise Line. Okay, that's great. Cultivating My Life says, I love non-scale victories. Me too. Savvyville says, what did you do in Africa? So I went on a 2-week mission trip to not to Victoria Falls, to Zambia and Zimbabwe. We spent a week in each country, and then we went to Victoria Falls in the middle of those two. And we did some awesome work there. I loved it. And for the first week, we were in Zimbabwe, and we did working with Awana. So with the children's program of feeding them and doing just kind of street missions and different things with them. And Awana is just such a great program. And a lot of the games that we played with them were the same exact games that Jayme played when he was a kid in Awana. They didn't have Awana in my area growing up. But they were the same exact games that he played, with the bean bags and the circles and running around and just different things, which is so cool, of how they adapted it for their culture and their resources, which were very limited compared to ours in America. And just so cool that even though across the countries, it was just the same. And then in Zimbabwe, they also feed them a full hot meal. So they had satsa, which is like a filler food. It's kind of similar to rice, but it's not very good. So satsa, beans, and greens that we were able to feed them and love on them. And the kids were just so, I loved those kids. A lot of them, if they're in school, they're learning English, and then some of them were younger, so they weren't really speaking much. But I remember this little boy, he was like probably 3 years old, and the only English he knew was, hi, how are you? So he'd come up to you and go, hi, how are you? And he'd say, good, how are you? And he'd go, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? And then he'd run away, and then he'd come back, hi, how are you? It was just so cute. And what was it? Oh, so the second night that we were there, we did some street evangelizing, and then we told all these people to come to this little area where we had a projector set up and a screen, and we showed this Jesus film in their language, and it was like 45 minutes long, and we were bundled up, and we had our like hoods up and just all bundled up, and we had to sit front row because we were the guests of honor, and which we didn't want to sit in the front because then we were like focused. We had to, you know, sit there in these plastic chairs, and it was so cold. And so then after it finished, of course, in Africa, they have music playing and dancing just because that's such a big part of their culture. And so there was 5 of us, I'm sorry, that we all just huddled, and we were like, all right, what are we going to keep warm? And so we got in a little circle, we were off to the side, and we did some jumping jacks. And we're like, all right, let's do 20 jumping jacks, get warm. So we did that, the 20 jumping jacks, warmed up a little bit, and we turned around, and all the people were doing jumping jacks, and they thought it was like this fun American dance move. And so then the whole week they'd be doing jumping jacks and different things, which was so funny. What else we do? We just poured into the girls there. There were some great teenagers and youth workers that were in their early 20s, so the same age as us, and just pouring into them and just talking about the real life struggles. And it was amazing how we put up this wall of America and Africa, them being so different. They had the same struggles as us, and it was incredible just to see that, of how similar we are. And even though we're a world apart, we still have the same struggles, the same everything. So that was Zimbabwe. So then we went to Victoria Falls, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world, where they have, I think it's like 3 miles of the falls. And so the only place in the world that has the 360 rainbow, because the falls are so strong that it bounces, the water bounces back up. So it creates that spray, and they have the full rainbow. So that was incredible. They had like 20 or 30 different lookout points. You walk a little bit and then have a lookout vantage point of the falls. Then you go out and then walk another. And so you got all these different perspectives of the falls. So we did that. We did walking with lions. We did a sunset cruise on the Azambezi River, which is that river that separates the two countries where the falls are. We did that. We did an elephant back safari, which was just incredible. It was really, really cool. We ate warthog. We ate crocodile, which I've had. Well, I'm sorry, I've had gator. But we had crocodile, so it was fun. And then in Zambia, we worked with Operation Mobilization. So which is a mission organization. So we went and toured a bunch of their different ministries. One of them was the Tabitha Project, which is taking women out of sex trafficking and teaching them the trade of sewing and beading and writing their name and different things like that, so that they can go and make a living, or they can go and teach other women how to do this, and just get out of that terrible, terrible just mess and lifestyle of sex trafficking, which is so incredible. And we had actually, our church had actually built them a well on their property, and we had also done the given them all the sewing machines and everything. And so we came and visited, and they were like, you know, oh, hi, nice to meet you. And they were very generous, very giving. And then they found out halfway through our visit that we were the ones that gave them those. Just the gratitude was, I'm like tearing up now just thinking about it. Just the gratitude of it was just incredible, of how thankful they were and how much it changed their life to have that running water and the sewing machine, so that they can learn this trade and they can get out of it and make a living for themselves and they can have a life. So that was incredible. And then they had a big Love Africa conference, which was people coming from all over Africa, the entire continent. And Jayme set up all the speakers and lights for them and stuff, which was really cool for him to be able to use those gifts. And then after that, we got really, really sick. And it was right when Ebola was breaking out. It broke out while we were in the country, which we were in Southern Africa, and this was Northwest Africa, this way, Northwest Africa, where it was. But it was terrible. So sick. Let's see. Lady Budgets, I made it. Yay! I'm so glad you're here. Megan says, I got rid of my car loan early this week. No more car prints for me. Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. Oh, I'm just so happy for you. Car loans, yeah, they're not fun at all. So did you get rid of your car and get a different one, or did you pay off the loans? Please let me know. That's so awesome. I love not having a car payment. It's incredible. Cultivating My Life says, woo, great work, Megan. Yes, that's so exciting. Lady Budgets, that's awesome, Megan. Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. Cayenne Fern, smiley faces. Oh my gosh, that is so great, Megan. Oh, you're doing awesome. That is incredible. You paid off the loan, even better. So you are chugging along in baby step 2. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So that is all the questions that I have pre-done. So if you have any questions for me, please ask them below. Otherwise, I am going to say bye. Let's see. I'm so happy you did this. Thank you. Thank you so much, Savvy Val. Or I should just call you Val because I know who you are. Thank you for coming. That is awesome. Let me see if I missed anything in the chat here. You paid the babysitting job. Got that. Got that. I think we are good. Very good. So thank you guys so much for coming. This was so much fun. I'm definitely going to be doing more of these. Let me know if there's any more topics that you'd like to talk about. I'm kind of surprised at how much we talked about the wedding and Jayme. That was really fun. So thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for another one coming up soon.